Welcome everyone. My name is Helena Kirby and I'm the Mayor of the Golden Plains Shire Council. Tonight this council meeting is taking place from the Golden Plains Civic Centre Council Chambers. However, in light of the current coronavirus situation, closed to the public and being presented in a different way via live stream. First of all, I would especially like to welcome our new candidates and welcome back our old councillors as well, and good luck, and we welcome you back for 4 years in the chair. As chair of the meeting, I give my consent for this open council meeting to be streamed live, recorded and published online, in accordance with section 14 of Council's Governance Rules of 2020. Myself as the chair and or the CEO have the discretion and authority to at any time direct the termination or interruption of the live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory or potentially inappropriate to be published. The stream will stop at the conclusion of the meeting. The public is able to view the meeting online via council's youtube.com, search Golden Plains Shire Council. The direct link is also available on our website at www.goldenplains.vic.gov.au. Should technical issues prevent the continuation of the stream, a recording will be made available on our website. Those councillors and staff in attendance in person tonight are advised to practice social distancing and the hygiene recommendations of the Department of Health and Human Services. Due to the coronavirus situation, any questions submitted for public question time will not be read out at tonight's meeting, with all questions to receive a written response. Again, due to the coronavirus situation, public presentations and submissions must be in written form only and will be read out by myself as Mayor. The maximum 5 minutes still applies. We do have presentations on planning items tonight, which I will read out at that point in the agenda. Thank you. I will now recite the opening declaration on behalf of all councillors. We, the councillors of the Golden Plains Shire, declare that we will undertake on every occasion to carry out our duties in the best interests of the community, and that our conduct shall maintain the standards of the Code of Good Governance, so that we may faithfully represent and uphold the trust placed in this council by the people of the Golden Plains Shire. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional Wadawurrung owners of the land where we meet today. Council pays its respects to the Wadawurrung elders, both past and present, and extends that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the Golden Plains Shire. Apologies and leave of absence. Are there any apologies for this meeting? No. Nil, thank you. Confirmation of the minutes. Councillors, we have a resolution before us to confirm the minutes of the meeting of the Council held on the 21st of September 2020 as circulated. Can I have a mover? Councillor Rowe. A seconder? Thank you. Councillor Sharkey. All those in favour? The motion is carried. Declarations of conflicts of interest. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest? Nil. Public question time. There have been no questions submitted for public question time tonight. We'll now move on to consider the formal agenda. Item 7, business reports for decision. Item 7.1, delegates report. on the 21st of September 2020 to the 23rd of November 2020. Mr. Braslis, thank you.
Councillors, please note the attendance of councillors at various functions throughout that period of time. I will note that we were in caretaker period for a part of that session as well, so the report is put to you for your consideration.
Thank you. Do I have the recommendation is that Council receive and note the Delegates' report, the 21st of September 2020 to the 23rd of November 2020. Do I have a motion? Councillor Rowe, seconded. Councillor Cunningham. Mover, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Not really, thanks.
Seconder, would you like to speak?
No, thank you.
Are there any councillors who would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors for? All right, I'll put the vote. Those in favour? Carried. Item 7.2, Community Strengthening Grants, Round 2, 2020. Thank you, Director Lisa Lectic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, the Community Grants Program enables community groups to enhance the wellbeing and quality of life of their communities in partnership with Council. In February 2020, a revised framework was adopted by Council which included the introduction of 4 streams in order to widen the program reach, align with Council's strategic objectives, address the undersubscription of the program. The 4 streams are healthy, active living, community safety, creative community, environment and sustainability. And we're really pleased that with the community response with 20 applications received. All applications were assessed by an internal panel and clear to meet the following criteria: clear objectives, alignment with the grant stream's objectives, clear outcomes and benefits to the target group, lasting community impact, project management ability. So the recommendation is that Council acknowledge the approved Community Strengthening Grants Round 2 2020 to the value of $71,928 as outlined to the recipients as outlined in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Letic. Okay. Yes.
Happy to move that, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Sharkey will move the motion. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Getsom, thank you. Would you like to speak to?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, this is a fantastic program. The Community Strengthening Grants was set up many years ago, and it's been an absolutely fantastic initiative. Golden Plains has always been looked at in this regard with how good it is. It has been a fantastic program. And last year we looked at changing it up, and we've made a great program even better. For me, reading through this report, I think the thing that really stands out to me is that there's been 3 groups that have unfortunately missed out, have been unsuccessful. So that sounds hard, but at the end of the day, they've missed out on this, and it's the first time we've had groups missing out on this program, which really highlights the fact that what the changes that have been done over the past year have really further strengthened a fantastic program. There's some of the awards or some of the recipients there, you can see the value add to areas. They are significant values to a lot of recreational groups around the Shire. We are leveraging this money, $75,000 to over $205,000. So it's a significant injection into the community. And I know, speaking to many community groups, they are looking forward to really see this as a value add for the groups. And I think in the next year or so, we're going to see more groups being unsuccessful in this, and that's a good thing that we're getting oversubscribed. We were undersubscribed last year, and it's fantastic work, and full credit to all the staff that have put this together. So fantastic initiative, and always a pleasure to see this one come forward to Council.
Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Getson, would you like to speak?
Yes, I'd like to support Councillor Sharkey's remarks there, and also I've noted that it is spread right across the Golden Plains Shire, which is a wonderful effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Getson. Is there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? All right, if no one else would like to speak, Mover, would you like to close the debate?
Given there's no objection, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to...
Move it. All right, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. We would now like to move into the councillors' part of announcing who the lucky participants are. Just go back through my notes, sorry. We are proud to announce the successful recipients of Council's Community Strengthening Grants, Round 2 for 2020. The objective of the Community Grants program is to enable local community groups to further enhance the wellbeing and quality of life of the wider community in partnership with Council. The grants are provided across the 4 streams of community safety, creative community, environment and sustainability, and healthy active living. This round provides 17 grants to the value of $71,928 to various groups, communities and initiatives across the Golden Plains Shire. Community safety grants are available to assist groups and organisations undertake projects within Golden Plains Shire, which increase the community's capacity, resilience and connection to plan for, deal with and recover from emergencies and ongoing risks. Council is excited to fund Life Saving Victoria's Sink or Swim Aquatic Safety and First Aid Online project to the sum of $4,385. Swimming is one of the most popular recreational pastimes for Australian children, and due to the increased trend in drowning deaths of children aged 5 to 12, aquatic education is imperative for their safety. Through engaging classroom activities delivered using video conferencing technology, where face-to-face delivery may not be possible due to COVID-19 restrictions, the Sink or Swim program aims to empower children to keep themselves and others safe in a range of aquatic environments. The physical delivery of water safety and first aid education is presently extremely challenging. In addition, the cost to schools to deliver programs of this nature also presents a significant barrier to participation. To reduce drowning and injury statistics, we need to remove these barriers by providing an interactive online program free of charge, which in turn increases our reach to more at-risk children. The project is expected to reach students across 4 schools across the Shire. Thank you. Councillor Cunningham.
Thank you. Golden Plains Shire congratulates the Bannockburn and District Men's Shed for a successful grant. The Bannockburn and District Men's Shed provide valuable support to the community in numerous ways. Council is proud to fund the group $750 towards the installation of a security system to ensure the safety of the space and equipment.
Thank you. Councillor Getson.
Creative community grants are available to assist groups to undertake arts and cultural projects within Golden Plains Shire that directly benefit the Golden Plains Shire community. Council is proud to partner with the Manawatu Hall Committee, providing $5,610 towards a plaque which acknowledges the original settlers or soldiers from 1921 that shaped Manawatu into the productive agricultural district that it is today.
Thank you, Mr. Whitfield.
In 1856, up to 2,000 Chinese made their way to the goldfields in the Linton area. The Linton Cemetery Trust is endeavouring to build a cover over the existing plaque erected to record and inform of the 75 Chinese burials within the Linton Cemetery between 1860 and 1921. The group will also further enhance the grounds around the plaque, providing safer access and general beautification for community members and as a tribute to those interred there. Council will contribute $2,500 to this project in support of the community volunteers who work continually to improve the grounds.
And Mr. Whitfield again.
The Environment and Sustainability Grants Program offers grants to assist groups, organisations and individuals to undertake environmental and sustainability projects on public and private land within the Golden Plains Shire. In early 2019, the Inverleigh Golf Club paid to have a water catchment dam area enlarged to increase water storage capacity, with the long-term plan to water the course using captured water rather than relying on mains water. Council is proud to support the club with a grant of $8,600 to set up piping, valves and control systems to transfer this captured water onto the course.
Councillor Sharkey.
Thank you. Batesford's Red Gum Reserve is a popular walking trail for the local community. Council is proud to contribute $2,087 to the Batesford-Finesford Stonehaven Landcare Incorporation, as well as providing support through our environmental and sustainable team to assist the group replant the site and undertake biodiversity enhancement.
The Hardies Hill Reserve has many native species found in few other places in the region, but is being invaded from the wetlands with spiny rush, gorse and blackberry. Council is pleased to contribute $4,000 to the Garibaldi Landcare Group to restore the wetland to native flora and fauna and eradicate the invasive weeds. This will help with the funding for 2,000 guards and stakes and guard frames to protect the tube stock for their first 12 months. The Yarrawee Catchment Group support the Garibaldi, Bangami, Meredith, Napoleons, Enfield and Ross Creek Landcare groups. All groups conduct at least one tree planting day each year. Combined, these groups have 151 active members. Tree planting days for individual groups can range from 5 to 120 attendees. Council is proud to fund the group $1,256.10 towards the purchase of 20 Hamilton tree planters, which will be made available for use for all of these valued volunteers. Council is also pleased to contribute $8,000 towards Geelong Sustainability Group's coordination of an extensive community bulk buyback program for rooftop solar systems and battery storage in the Golden Plains Shire. As part of the G21 region-wide program helping homeowners to go solar, it is designed to build community resilience through renewable energy. It will engage around 1,200 people across the region via public information sessions and is anticipated to result in approximately 250 households going on to purchase a solar and or battery system, adding around 1.5 to 2 megawatts of rooftop solar and battery storage in total. Councillor Getson.
Council is pleased to support Linton and District Progress Association to improve biodiversity value of Edinburgh Reserve and to engage the community in working together to beautify Linton. Council is contributing $1,300 towards planting locally Indigenous shrubs and trees that will fringe the seasonal wetland within the reserve. The enhancements will be promoted in the Linton News to raise awareness of the project and promote further use of the reserve by the community. Community members will be engaged in planting and encouraged to participate in future plans for the reserve.
Thank you. Councillor Cunningham.
Council is proud to support Bannockburn Community Planning Group with a contribution of $8,000 towards the construction of an ironbark shade arbour in Milton Street. The arbour will provide a place to meet, sit and shelter from the sun, wind or rain for students and parents travelling to the Bannockburn schools and daycare centres. It will be covered with indigenous plants and at a later date will include indigenous artwork. The timber has been grown and milled locally as an example of using local sustainable building materials. Seating and other artworks will be constructed in conjunction with the school and community.
Thank you. Councillor Sharkey.
Healthy Active Livings grants are available to assist groups and organisations undertake sport, recreation, health and wellbeing projects that directly benefit the Golden Plains Shire community. Council is excited to support the Maud Recreation Reserve Committee of Management and contribute $3,242.50 towards the supply and installation of 11 metres of cricket netting to the east side of the existing cricket pitch. This will beautify the area and increase community use of the facilities, not only the cricket facilities but also the tennis and the hall, by making the area more user-friendly. Importantly, it also provides an opportunity for local residents and the wider community to participate in physical activity.
Councillor Rowe.
Council is pleased to contribute $2,500 towards the upgrade of the Meredith Cricket Club's practice nets. These upgrades will allow for greater player participation during training, encourage junior players to come to the club, and improve player safety during training sessions. The nets will also be open for the use by the general community, whether they are part of the club or not, and the primary school will be able to bring classes to the recreation reserve to use them for physical education lessons. Council is also excited to contribute $5,000 to the Hands of Change Meredith to go towards the planning, designing, building and ongoing maintenance of the Meredith Community Garden. The Meredith Community Garden project is primarily aimed at residents within the Meredith and local surrounds and of any age, gender and ability. In partnership with the Meredith Primary School, the group are delivering a program called Nurturing Young Minds for their future to the years 5 and 6s. The students are learning basic business skills of planning, budgeting and resilience, using the concept of a community garden as a basis of their project.
Councillor Getson.
Council is excited to contribute $1,980 to assist the Wody Athletics Club to provide adequate seating and picnic tables for their increasing members and for the many other groups that use the facility. A great project that will enhance community connectedness during and after training, activities and competition.
Gamble.
Congratulations to Rokewood Kindergarten. Golden Plain Shire will contribute $2,717 towards the purchase of 5 outdoor blinds to fill in an outside veranda area at Rokewood Kindergarten. Installing blinds will provide increased sun protection and create a weatherproof outdoor play area to be used during the colder months. Importantly, creating this all-weather activity area will increase the time kindergarten children and staff can spend outside throughout the year. And also thank you to the Bannockburn and congratulations to the Bannockburn and District Netball Association Incorporated, who have been a long-standing organisation within the district, but are now in a situation where they plan to dissolve. As part of the dissolution, the association would like to donate funds to erect a small semi-enclosed grandstand at the Victoria Park Sporting Precinct in Bannockburn. The grandstand would be 5-tiered and seat 68 to 70 people and directly benefit users of the netball courts, especially the spectators attending the Bannockburn Football and Netball Club Incorporated during the winter season. Council is pleased to contribute $10,000 towards this important piece of infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think we've spread the money out far and wide around the whole community of the Golden Plain Shire, and we just look forward to the next round of funding that will be available in March or April next year. So good on you groups out there, and we just look forward to seeing the projects come to life. Item 7.3, the Golden Plain Shire Council 2019-20 Annual Report Adoption. Okay. Mr. Bresless.
Councillors, this report is a procedural report that we put up each year. The report was originally put up to Council in September this year to endorse our annual report. However, due to COVID, the state government was unable to audit our financial statements till later this year and has given compensation to councils around the state to ensure that the financial reports would be finalised by the end of November. As a result, the annual report and the financial statements are included in the report tonight. The financial statements have been audited and will proceed through unqualified. The overall operating statement shows that Council had a very successful year last year, and I recommend and put forward to Council and the community to have a good look at our annual report. It highlights a number of things that happened over the last 12 months, and both Council and the officers are very proud. The report is put to you for your endorsement.
Thank you. May I also ask the Director to briefly talk about the report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So just to note, the report has been signed off by the councillors involved in the Audit and Risk Committee, which was the Mayor at the time was Mayor Sharkey and Councillor Rowe. I think was the key to be discussed there. And just noting that within the in regards to the annual report has been signed off by those two councillors. Thank you.
Director Sullivan. We have a recommendation that Council adopt the Golden Plains Shire Council 2019-20 annual report in accordance with the Local Government Act 1989, submitting it to the Minister of Local Government by the 30th of November 2020, as required under Section 133 of the Local Government Act. Do I have a motion?
I'm happy to move the recommendation, Madam Mayor, as the motion.
I have a seconder, Councillor Rowe. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Look, this is a fantastic document that is put together. We've just gone through a very engaged election process. There's a lot of people in the community that got engaged throughout the election process. I fully recommend anyone that wants to get engaged with Council to pick up this document as one of the first documents to have a look at and a read to get further engaged with what Council does over a year. For even us as councillors, when you pick up this document, you very quickly get reminded of some of the projects and the achievements throughout the year. It's been fantastic. Looks fantastic. It's been really well put together. And I think it's a whole new, fresh approach in terms of the way it looks over previous years. If anyone wants to go back and see how it's looked in previous years, it's fantastic to compare each year and see the numbers growing and the advocacy that Council is doing, strengthening each and every year. It also does highlight some of the challenges that is presented to Council, so it's a fantastic document to look over. So for anyone that's tuned in tonight and was engaged throughout the process of the election, pick up this document and read over it. It's a fantastic way as a first point of call to have a look over. So fully support that and really well put together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Rowe, would you like to...
What I'd like to say, it's just a procedural operation of the Local Government Act, and what I'd like to say too is just like to get all, like Councillor Sharkey said, get all the ratepayers and the residents to have a decent read over this annual report, because a lot of highlights and achievements in there from that period, 1st of July 19 to 30th of June 20. And also, in saying that, I'd like to acknowledge especially all the funding forms involved in there, especially the state and federal government grants. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rowe. Are there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Anyone like to speak for the motion? All right, I'll put the vote. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.4, Council Plan 2021 to 2025 Development, Project Plan and Timelines. Director Lectic, would you like to speak?
Madam Mayor. Councillors, the Council Plan is a strategic document that outlines the direction and priorities of Council over a 4-year Council term. Council is required under the new Local Government Act to prepare and adopt this plan following the general election. The plan must address the community vision. In preparation for this, Council developed a draft community vision following 12 months of extensive community engagement, which captures the hopes and aspirations of the community over the next 20 years. This vision is scheduled for adoption and consideration by Council at the December meeting. The Act requires that the Council plan include strategic direction and the objectives that it plans to achieve over the 4-year period, indicators for monitoring the success of those objectives, Council priorities for service, infrastructure and amenity over that period. The proposed plan before you provides timelines and key phases. The phases include a review of the existing plan against industry best practice standards, previous community engagement to inform your considerations, staff and councillor engagement workshops, further community engagement to inform the plan. That will then develop a draft council plan which will then be taken back to the community for further consultation and checking in. We are also proposing that the municipal public health and wellbeing plan be integrated into the council plan, and so therefore the consultation will include the consideration of the health and wellbeing plan in that process. The recommendation before you is that council endorse the project plan and timelines for the development of the council plan 2021 to 2025.
Thank you, Director-elect Dick. Do I have a mover for the motion? Councillor Sharkey.
Happy to move, Madam Mayor.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Whitfield, thank you. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I must admit, on a personal level, having been this my second term, the first term as councillor was quite overwhelming with the amount of information and things that come to you in your first term. I am absolutely looking forward to this council plan, and I think even through our induction process there has been a huge emphasis put on this by the organisation in terms of how engaged we need to be as councillors through this process. This is hugely important to us, and this guides the ship for the next 4 years. So really looking forward to the community engagement through this, really looking forward to being able to put my own personal beliefs and in that as well, and looking forward to listening to other councillors here put that input into it. But to all new councillors, really, don't overlook this council plan. It's a fantastic process, and one that, as I said, will help guide the ship. And I firmly believe that this council plan will help better direct that ship than previous council plans. So. Looking forward to the process, and I think it's all been put together wonderfully well. Really looking forward to it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Sharkey. Councillor Whitfield, would you like to speak?
I'd reiterate what Councillor Sharkey said and added the very positive steps forward for the corporate organisation and communication, etc. And I think it's a very positive step forward. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any councillors who'd like to speak for the motion? All right, I'll put that to the vote. If you would like to sum up, Councillor Sharkey.
If there's no objection to it, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to not repeat myself.
Right. I'll put the vote. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 7.5, the Quarterly Finance Report. Thank you, Director O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report presents the financial result for the quarter ending 30th of September 2020. Section 138 of the Local Government Act requires a report comparing budgeted revenue and expenditure to the actual revenue and expenditure to be presented to Council every 3 months. As at the 30th of September 2020, the income statement reports our total revenue of $31.3 million and our total operating expenditure of $9.5 million, resulting in a year-to-date surplus of $21.8 million. This is a $3.5 million favourable result compared to the original budget and $2.5 million favourable against the revised budget. The main reasons for this is that we've had $367,000 in extra rates revenue due to a greater amount of customer growth than budgeted, $425,000 of operating grants that have been carried forward from the 1920 year, which was due to the timing of delivering the obligations being after the 30th of June 2020. $259,000 of hire of open space and developer contributions income due to greater development activity than anticipated. Contract and material costs are $486,000 lower than the revised budget due to, again, delay in timing of the receival of the collection and garbage disposal costs invoices, and also some lower maintenance costs due to facilities being closed as a result of the COVID-19 restrictions. Employee costs are also $602,000 down on the revised budget due to a number of vacant positions that are yet to be filled. The adjusted underlying result removes any capital revenue that has been used to fund expenditure, and that's currently at a surplus of $19.3 million, which is compared to a budget of $16.9 million. This is due to the $2.5 million variances as highlighted just earlier. Capital work statement reflects the total capital expenditure of $4.4 million, which is $2.9 million above the original budget and $1.8 million above the revised budget. We've delivered 167% of the revised budget, again due to the roll forward of a number of $6.5 million of projects from the previous year. This is as a result of the timing of when projects are to be delivered over multiple years. This includes the Golden Plains Civic Centre, the Bakers Lane development, the Bannockburn Bowls upgrade and Turtle Bend upgrade. A number of other projects are to be delivered on time. These include the Teasdale Turtle Bend pedestrian footbridge, Bannockburn Bowls upgrade, Bannockburn Youth Hub, Leithbridge lighting and irrigation install. I'll also highlight that a number of contracts have been awarded this quarter. 2 contracts under the CEO delegation, which related to the upgrade of our disaster recovery sites and our new telephony system. 10 tenders have been advertised and 4 have been awarded during the quarter, which includes the Inverleigh Sporting Complex Club Room upgrade, Bakers Land detail design and the Reserve Road Bridge replacement. Also to note, the Finance Quarterly Report will be presented at the 2nd of December 2020 Audit and Risk Committee meeting. I will now take the report as read and note this is to be noted by Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Sullivan. Do we have a...
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes, you may. Councillor Rowe.
I've got to just ask a question on page 37. The Barwon Park Road widening, was that the section between Wishards Road and the bridge?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yep. Thank you.
Madam
Any
Mayor?
other questions?
Yep.
Yes.
Director O'Sullivan, just a question. With the increase in the rates, was that from any particular area in the Shire, the growth?
No, that has been across the Shire. There has been more growth around the Bannockburn and also Teasdale area, but it has been across the board.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors? No? All right. Do I have a motion? A mover? Councillor Sharkey. Do I have a seconder to the motion? Councillor Rowe, thank you. Councillor Sharkey, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. It's quite surprising reading through this quarterly financial report, and I think if you had told me personally 2 quarters ago that this is what this would look like, having just gone through COVID and all that, I wouldn't have believed what I was reading. So it's hugely encouraging to see that things are moving forward. And also, I know that through briefings and conversations, we've spent a lot of time speaking about what this year has looked like for a lot of residents and that. So it's fantastic to see that some areas haven't blown out as I would have thought they would have, having gone into a pandemic. So with regards to the hardship policy, things like that, it's been a fantastic year, and it's highlighted in this quarter. Couple of things worth noting in there, I thought, was the CEO delegation there is which increased last year, is only 2 for this quarter. So that's that the CEO has delegated two there, which has sped the process up to get those projects moving forward. And highlighting the year that we've had, it's hugely important to get projects like these moving forward. And it's good to see these works happening right across the Shire. So it's we're in a great position there. And again, given the year we've had, I'm shell shocked that everything is looking as good as what it is. So happy to move that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Rowe, would you like to second?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I think Councillor Sharkey's covered most points of interest to all. Look, it's just a little bit of in-housekeeping, to be honest with you. And Council's completed the first 3 months of the 2021 financial year. So that's all I'd say. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? I'll put the vote. Those in favour? Carried. Item 7.6, Quarterly Council Plan 2017 to 2021 Implementation Progress Report. Thank you, Director Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report provides an update on Council's progress of the 2021 actions included in the 2017 to 2021 Council Plan. Council Plan contains 40 actions framed around 4 pillars. This is the first quarterly report to Council for this year. Progress has commenced across all pillars, and whilst COVID-19 continues to have an impact on some activities, many tasks have been achieved in this quarter. I'll highlight just a few. School Holiday and Wellbeing Program delivered. Winter Walk Challenge held. Shake Off Dance Project focusing on mental health. Final Master Plan for Leedale Equestrian Centre adopted. Final Sport and Active Recreation Strategy 2020 to 2030 adopted. Commenced work on Reconciliation Action Plan. Messages of Hope program launched. COVID-19 support provided across many areas. Supported businesses impacted by the avian flu influenza outbreak. Commenced the 3 Trails project. Commenced Smythesdale Well Digital Hub project. Launch of multiple youth programs. Waste management strategy adopted. Bannockburn Growth Plan prepared. Linton Recreation Reserve shower amenities upgrade and annual play space maintenance program commenced. However, there are many more that have been achieved, and these are detailed in the attachment. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Sullivan. All right. Do I have any questions first up? No questions? All right. Do I have a mover to the motion? Councillor Sharkey, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Rose. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Probably a little bit of a repeat of what I said earlier in the meeting with regards to the council plan. It's fantastic to see this, and a little bit like the annual reports. Sometimes when you see everything put in front of you like that, and like the list there that Director O'Sullivan has read out there with regards to the things that we've achieved. Sometimes it's just those tiny little things that you're reminded about at these times of what we actually achieve as a council. So the Messages of Hope program launched. You know, it's not a huge program, but it was a little thing that happened in the schools. Really well received, and a lot of people in the Shire probably won't know about that, except for the kids that took part of it. But it's those tiny little things that we do right across the Shire that have a huge effect on a lot of people. So it's fantastic, and it's, even having been mayor and been a part of a lot of these, it's quite surprising when you see the list put in front of you like that when you look back over a quarter. But as I said earlier on, we are drawing to the end of this council plan, and absolutely looking forward to the fresh approach in which we will have with the next council plan, and what that will do for our communities in the next 4 years. So very much proud and happy to move that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Rowe, would you like to speak?
Well, not really. I think Councillor Sharkey's covered most things, but yeah, thank you.
Is there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any councillors for the motion? Councillor Gamble, thank you.
I'd like to thank you, Mayor Kirby. I'd like to commend the council plan as it's progressing to the constituents. There's a lot of things that I didn't know that was going on, that are going on around the Shire, and I see it as part of a very good news story that that our Shire's really progressing on a lot of areas, despite a lot of issues too with COVID and other things. But so part of our endeavour in the next few years is to write our own plan, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I think it's a great basis to build on as it is.
Sure. Thank you, Councillor Gamble. Is there anyone like to speak against the motion? Speak for the motion? Would you like to start, Councillor Sharkey?
No.
No? All right. I put the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 7.7, Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program Extension Funding Allocation. Thank you, Mr. Josipovic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since the adoption of Council's 2021 budget in June of 2020, Council was allocated $1,333,655 as part of the Federal Government's Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program. In July 2020, at its ordinary meeting, Council resolved to allocate the funding to 6 projects which were subsequently approved by the Department of Infrastructure, Transport and Regional Development. The approved projects or the nominated projects are listed in the report before you tonight. In early October 2020, the Federal Government announced an extension to this program and allocated an additional $1,512,680 to the Golden Plains Shire Council. The guidelines for the extended program had not been released at the time of writing this report, but based on the existing guidelines and available information regarding the extended program, officers believe the key eligibility criteria for projects to be nominated will be the same as the first round. With the criteria for the first round as listed in the report in front of you in mind, officers recommend 7 projects for the second phase of the Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program, which are summarised in Table 1 on page 47 and 48 of your agenda. Projects reviewed and ultimately not recommended are also shown in Table 2 on page 48 of the agenda. The recommendation for your consideration is printed on page 45, with recommendation 1 that Council endorse allocating $1,512,680 to the 7 projects as listed there. Recommendation 2 is that Council note it would be required to contribute an estimated $331,000 towards the Paddy's Gully Road Bridge replacement in Rokewood Junction, and be considered as part of the 21-22 budget deliberations. And note that Council also note the list of projects endorsed by Council tonight will be submitted to the Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development for final approval.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, any questions? No questions? Okay. Do we have a mover for the motion? Councillor Sharkey, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Do we have a seconder to the motion? Thank you, Councillor Whitfield. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Another good news story. With this and further to what Director Josipovic has clearly highlighted, and some fantastic projects there, and it's unbelievable that we're able to spread that sum of money, $1.5 million, over that many projects. So again, going right across the Shire and covering some really important projects right across the Shire. So again, proving that our advocacy and work that we're doing behind the scenes has been absolutely fantastic. And as I said, spreading the load over that significant sum of money, 1.5 over all those projects, is fantastic. So another good news story for our council tonight.
Sure. Thank you. Councillor Whitfield, would you like to speak?
I just concur with Councillor Sharkey on that one, thanks.
Yep. All right, anyone like to speak against the motion? For the motion, I'll put it to the vote. Those in favour? Thank you, carried. One excellent program and a bucket full of money for our shire, so well done. 7.8, the draft community engagement policy. Thank you, Ms Lectic.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Councillors, one of the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020 is that before March 2021, Council is required to adopt and maintain a community engagement policy. The new Act states that the policy must adhere to community engagement principles and practices, specify the type of community engagement proposed and how Council will inform community engagement outcomes. It is a principle-based policy and won't go into the detail at this stage of how we will undertake the engagement itself. That will come later in a piece of work around a community engagement strategy. So the policy just provides the principles and responds to the requirements of the Local Government Act. The purpose of this report is to recommend Council endorse the draft community engagement policy for public exhibition and feedback. In doing so, it will enable the following time frames to occur. Public exhibition for community feedback between 26th of November and the 11th of January 2021. Submissions will be then analysed and taken into consideration into any further updates to the draft policy before being presented to Council for adoption in February 2021. So therefore the recommendation is that Council endorse the draft community engagement policy as detailed in attachment 1 in the agenda for public exhibition and feedback. Thank you.
Any questions, councillors? No? Okay. Do I have a mover to the motion? Councillor Whitfield, thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Cunningham, thank you. Would you like to speak, Councillor Whitfield?
Yes, I'd just like to say that this policy is going to take community engagement in great steps forward. It is a corporate internal policy, but it will guide the council officers in how they go about their community engagement. There is a further community engagement strategy to follow, and I think it's a significant step forward in improving council and resident interaction. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Whitfield. Councillor Cunningham?
Madam Mayor, I just support everything that Councillor Whitfield has said. I think it's a very important piece of strategy going forward.
Thank you. Are there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any councillors who'd also like to speak for the motion? None? All right, I'll put the vote. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.9, establishment of the Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For many years, Council has chaired, organised and participated in the Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee, often referred to as the MEMC. The MEMC was made up of Council staff and our emergency management partners in Barwon South West and Grampians regions, and works through current emergency management issues and identifies and plans for hazards. On 21st of August 2018, the Emergency Management Legislation Amendment Act of 2018 received royal assent, which inserts and amends sections of the Emergency Management Act of 2013. The introduction of this new act was completed in 3 stages, being at a state, regional and then municipal level changes. The new legislation addresses known and documented risks in emergency management planning by establishing an integrated, comprehensive and coordinated framework for emergency management planning at a state, regional and municipal level. In the past, the MEMC was made up of both emergency management response and recovery agencies. There was no limit to who could be a member, however, only certain members were afforded voting rights. The new legislation makes this a lot clearer for all agencies and Council. As per Section 59 of the Emergency Management Act, Council must resolve to establish a MEMC, and ideally this is delegated to the CEO. The new Golden Plains Shire Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee must consist of members or officers from Council, Victoria Police, Country Fire Authority, Fire Rescue Victoria, Ambulance Victoria, Victoria State Emergency Service, Australian Red Cross and Department of Health and Human Services. The recommendation before you tonight on page 62 is the Council authorises the disestablishment of the existing Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee. 2, that it authorises the CEO to facilitate the establishment of the MEMC in accordance with the provisions of Section 68 of the Emergency Management Act, Legislation Act of 2018. And note that under the MEMC terms of reference provided and the Emergency Management Legislation Amendment Act of 2018, Council's role is to establish the committee. Once established, the committee exists separately to Council and is not a committee of Council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, any questions, councillors? Do I have a mover to the motion? Sharkey, thank you. And do I have a seconder? Councillor Rowe. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. This is a fantastic recommendation here. With this establishment of the existing Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee, and moving forward, it's just a whole new, fresh approach to the way in which we look at this. The presentations that we had last week at our briefings, for me, this one was one of the standout ones that was, and I note the author of this, Matthew Sims, who's done a lot of work behind the scenes and is absolutely looked at as an industry leader right across the state. So he's done a fantastic job, and I think it was one of our best presentations that we had forward for us last week. For Golden Plains to be the chair of this perfectly highlights how well we are doing in this space behind the scenes. So full admiration for all those behind the background, and looking forward to this whole new fresh approach going forward, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Rowe, would you like to speak?
Yep, just like to say that this is just a new structure, new legislation that needs implementing, and alongside the disestablishment of the existing Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee. So, yeah, it's just got to be something that we've just got to do. Thank you.
Are there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any councillors who'd like to speak for? I put the vote. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.10, Council and Audit Committee meeting dates for 2021. 2021, yes. Eric Brassel's the CEO. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council, a procedural report. Each year we present to Council, and as required, a list of meeting dates for the following year. As shown within the report, we've identified the Council meeting dates as well as the Audit and Risk meeting dates. The meeting structures haven't changed. The proposal is to continue to meet council meetings on the third Tuesday of each month. There are a few exceptions throughout the year in terms of the budget, the mayoral election, and the December meeting due to Christmas. At this stage, the first 4 meetings next year will be restricted to the public will be restricted from attending, and we will continue to do live streaming. We'll await any changes over the coming months, and we will come back to council early in the new year to determine where we can commence the meetings following April, and we'll bring that back for council's consideration and determination prior. So we put this forward for your consideration now, and as I said, we'll be back to you early in the new year to determine the other locations and dates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Do we have any questions? No questions? Okay. Well, we actually need to probably move and make some dates and times on this proposal, because the live stream one doesn't actually state where we're having it. It says it's being live streamed, but we haven't got an actual venue. So is it going to be Bannockburn or Linton?
The intentions, Madam Mayor, is that the meetings would be from Bannockburn whilst we're doing the COVID restrictions. None of our other facilities at the moment provide the opportunity to allow for it, but it is something that we can reconsider in the new year when we bring a report back to council.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Breathless. All right, do I have a mover to the motion? Councillor Cunningham. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Rowe. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, Madam
Cunningham.
Mayor, pretty straightforward, I think. So, but I do agree with you that when COVID does settle down or we get through that, we look at the locations to hopefully be able to take the the council meetings to other parts of the Shire. But otherwise, all good.
Councillor Rowe, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I'd just like to endorse what Councillor Cunningham said. It's a very procedural thing, just forecasting the dates in advance, virtually. So, yeah, so sort of some in-house operation. Thank you.
Councillor Rowe. Is there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors that would like to speak for the motion?
I'd just like to highlight the fact that it's something probably we just quietly overlook a little bit, but it's fantastic that we have got the facilities that we do have here tonight, and that the residents right across the Shire are able to tune in tonight. With all this technology that we've got here. So it's 12 months ago we weren't anywhere close to this. So it's fantastic that that we've got these facilities for everyone in the Shire to tune in. So absolutely fantastic.
And just on that, I'd just like to say, even with the hearing loops that that we have in this council chamber tonight, I think it's appreciated by some of our councillors as well. So I really think it's a good way going forward. So anyone else would like to speak?
I think with the hearing, it's a great job. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, if there's no other councillors that would like to speak, I'll put it to the vote. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.11, Council Delegates 2020 to 2021. Thank you, Mr. Breathless.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Another report that we put up annually to the council group. This report highlights a number of boards, committees, and membership-based groups that we're involved in. Each year, council needs to determine which councillors sit on which committees. The attachment to this report breaks those committees and membership groups into three categories: those groups that we must have a councillor involved in, those groups that we suggest we have a councillor involved in, and those groups that we are voluntary in base. And if a councillor isn't involved, an officer will be in attendance regardless. So that report attachment is listed. We've through consultation with the councillors, been able to provide a councillor representative on almost, if not every one of those groups. So we put this report to you for endorsement. What we would then do is tomorrow morning, officers will make contact with each one of those groups and highlight which councillor will be in attendance from here on in.
So the recommendation that council appoints councillor delegates to the various internal and external organisations and committees for 2021 as shown in attachment 1. Do I have a mover to the motion? Councillor Sharkey.
And just moving forward for the recommendation, Madam Mayor, with one suggested change for the membership-based peri-urban group, which has you as a delegate there. I'm happy to go as a deputy on that one as the peri-urban group. Having spoke to the executive on that one, they have suggested that other councils have a deputy on that one, but I also appreciate, having been mayor, that it does clash sometimes with the G21 there. So happy to support you and Madam Mayor there and help you with that group. And two heads are better than one. So with that in mind, I'm happy to move that recommendation.
All right. No questions, councillors? No? All right. Well, do I have a seconder? Councillor Getson, thank you. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Fantastic Fantastic conversations and having new councillors there with being able to sit on all of these new groups will bring a fresh approach to a lot of these groups and be able to hear from these new councillors bringing forward their ideas and that from committees. So hugely exciting as a new council to get on some of these groups and start mixing and creating good relationships with other councillors across the state and our regions. So look forward to all representatives on the groups.
Thank you, Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Getson?
Well, I support Councillor Sharkey's remarks, and also that it'll be a experience for us and to bring some benefit back to the Golden Plains Shire. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any councillors who'd like to speak against the motion? Any other councillors who'd like to speak for the motion? Councillor Rowe, thank you.
Yeah, just looking forward to the reports that come back from these board meetings and committees. That's all. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor Whitfield?
I'd just like to add that as a new initiative, there are now portfolios that we've been assigned to and become a delegate for, and I think that's a great initiative so that each of us gets to become a somewhat expert in a particular field and share that knowledge with the rest of the group. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for those comments, Councillor Whitfield. Anyone else like to speak for or against? Would you like to sum up, Councillor Sharkey?
I think it's been perfectly put by everyone.
All right, I'll put to the vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. Item 7.12, proposed sale of council-owned land at Lamandra Drive, Teasdale. Thank you, Mr. Josipovic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Planning permit was issued on the 6th of April for a multi-lot subdivision of council-owned land at Lamandra Drive. The site in Teasdale is zoned low-density residential and is an undeveloped parcel of land with a total area of 20.85 hectares. The subdivision, of course, will include construction of an internal road network from Lamandra Drive and Caledonia Street. Prior to selling any land, Council must comply with sections 189 and 223 of the Local Government Act of 1989. As a result of these requirements, Council resolved in May 2020 to advertise its intent to sell council-owned land and consider any submissions and hear any submitters wishing to be heard. Following this resolution, Council published 2 notices in compliance with the relevant requirements of the Act, one in the Golden Plains Times on 4th of June 2020 and one in the Geelong Advertiser on 6th of June 2020. The notices required submissions to be received by 5 p.m. on Monday the 6th of July 2020. No objections to the proposed sale were received. However, one email from an adjoining property owner / developer was received, querying whether Council should have a future road reserved to the land's southern boundary, allowing for a future road connection into land to the south, when and if development is allowed. Council officers determined that no change was required, given that the draft Teasdale structure plan recently endorsed by Council maintains the growth area currently identified and does not identify land to the south of the Council-owned land for growth at this stage. This may change in the future. However, there are also 2 other options to the east of the development site, the subject site, to provide an entrance to the land to the south should that become residential land in the future. The recommendation before you on page 75 is that Council note that public notices were published in the Golden Plains Times and the Geelong Advertiser in accordance with sections 189 and 223 of the Local Government Act. 2, that no objections were received by closing date and time for submissions. And 3, approve the sale of council-owned land at Lamandra Drive, Teasdale, following the subdivision of the land into 37 lots. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Sharkey, thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor. We as a council have an opportunity here, I believe, and just with regards to a question is, we get a lot of feedback as councillors in terms of good developments that are done across the Shire by good developers and a lot of examples of poor developments across the Shire. Do we as a council have the opportunity to set set a high standard and hopefully bring a fresh approach to other developers going forward. So, well, my question is, do we as a council get to set the standard here at a higher, if we go ahead with this development, we're able to set a higher standard, or what things can we do to make sure that this is done at a higher level than other developments?
Well, I'll put it to you. I think any questions for the Director?
Through you,
Yes.
Madam Mayor, happy to answer that. Yes, we are looking at the development, and we've appointed a consultant to do the detailed design. The minimum requirement, of course, is to meet the requirements of the infrastructure design manual. We are going slightly above and beyond that. We're making sure that in the lots to be created, there is some weedy growth and environmental weeds, which we'll clear out and clean up to make sure that any new owner, when they take possession of that lot, won't have that ugly site sort of facing them. We're also looking at the southern area of the subject site where the basin's going to go, to make it more as a passive recreation space rather than just purely a drainage basin with a fence around it, so to become part of that open space. And we're trying to minimise any vegetation removal and keep it as much as we can. We'll also include some walking paths down that open space area, as well as maintaining a fire access track. But we'll also look at planting street trees in line with our Council's recently adopted street tree planting guide, and we'll do more than the minimum. Our crossovers are slightly above what the minimum requirement is, so they'll be slightly wider than your typical crossover. So we are doing little things like that. And one of the decisions we'll make down the track is fencing, quality of fencing that we put in, as opposed to the bare minimum.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? No? Okay. All right. On that note, can I have a mover to the motion? Councillor Sharkey. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Rowe, thank you. Councillor Sharkey, would you like to speak?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. There's been much talk about this one, or from the time I got into council, this always seemed like a dream off into the future, that there was a potential pot of gold there for council to be able to be rewarded on. I think we as residents and councillors should thank our forefathers here for what they have done by allowing us to have this space. And I think it's an area in which we need to look to our grandchildren as well, with the financial gain that council can get from this. I firmly believe that part of that needs to be looked and invested to our grandchildren, in terms of the next councils into the future being able to do things and have that cash injection into the budget. So it is fantastic to see a development like this go ahead, and for us as ratepayers and residents across the Shire to be the financial winners of this. A lot of developers around the Shire develop and do that for their financial gain. This is a financial gain for us ratepayers. So look forward to what that financial gain will bring to us. And on a second note, we do have, and I take the words from Director Josipovic in terms of minimum requirements that come to us. So with any planning that comes to us, we always hear that the developers are doing the minimum requirements. So we have an opportunity here to set a fresh approach for developers across the Shire and actually look to raising that minimum requirements. And with that, hopefully it sets the bar in terms of when it comes to selling those blocks of land that other developers will looked at the envy by the marketplace. So fantastic opportunity on two fronts there. So again, thank you very much to our forefathers for having the foresight to be able to do this, and look forward to us as ratepayers being able to reap the rewards from this.
For sure. Thank you, Councillor Sharkey. Councillor Rowe, would you like to speak?
I'd like to say, look, yeah, I can't wait to see the final outcome of this subdivision. yeah, it'll be great to drive over there and go through it all when 37 lots are completed. But look, listen, this is just another thing we must comply with, this recommendation, part of the Local Government Act prior to selling any council land. We've just got to do it, and we've jumped through some of the other hoops as far as advertising and etc. So this is just one of the final stages. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rowe. Is there any other councillor who'd like to speak against the motion?
Not against, but just...
All right, for the motion then.
In addition, I'd like to note that while this seems, as far as I can judge at this stage, a high quality development, I mentioned an idea in the briefings that one thing I'd like to see in future developments is more walkways and just to put more emphasis on community connections. I know that with this development, that would involve private land acquisition, which is not on, but going forward, I think that should be more of an emphasis in our towns that do have a lot of long parallel streets, which makes it very hard for kids to get around. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gamble. Anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Sharkey, would you like to sum up?
All right. Going the comments round. Thank you.
All right, I'll put it to the vote. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Item 7.13, Golden Plains Shire RFT-10-2020, Meredith Shelford Road widening. Thank you, Ms Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll actually refer across to Director Yusufovich. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Director Sullivan. This report seeks to appoint a suitably qualified and experienced contractor to construct approximately 2.2 kilometres of sealed road with 300 millimetres of compacted depth crushed rock and a 7 millimetre size primer seal to support a safer and more efficient transport network. Councillors have previously been provided a copy of the confidential tender evaluation documentation that I'll refer to tonight. The tender was released to market on 15th of August 2020 and was open for 25 days. 10 responses were received and compliance checking began on 10th of September 2020. The Occupational Health and Safety team also began their assessment and reporting for compliant tenders. After the evaluation panel had reviewed and scored each tender individually, a consensus evaluation meeting was held on the 5th of October 2020. Bitumill Civil Proprietary Limited was acknowledged as the preferred supplier based on consensus scores measured by capacity, capability, price and local content. Recommendation on page 81 is that Council resolves to award the contract for the Meredith Shelford Road widening Henderson Road to Lower Plains Road to Bitumill Civil Proprietary Limited for the contract sum, including contingency of $874,534.82, and that's exclusive of GST. And 2, the Council delegates to the Chief Executive Officer or his delegate authority to execute the contract on behalf of Council.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? No? Okay. Do I have a mover to the motion?
Madam Mayor, as a suggestion, if there's no objection, I'm happy to move 7.13, 14 and 15 in one block if there's no objections, and speak to them all at once.
Yes, I think we can do that. That's no problem. So, all right. So you'd like to move the motion
I'd like to move
for a block of 3 for those items?
Move all three at once.
And those 3 are all contracts, so thank you. Okay, do I have a seconder to that? Seconder to the motion? Councillor Whitfield, thank you. Would you like to speak, Councillor Sharkey?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. All 3 of these items are sort of have gone through the process. the briefing that we had last week and the conversations that we had and the fantastic questions that were asked by particularly the new councillors was a very good exercise in which we went through, and I think all of the new councillors have probably a newfound appreciation for the role that officers have through the contractual agreements and the tender evaluation process that we do go through. So I think it was really well highlighted, and I had a fantastic presentation through that induction process. All these valuations on all of these have gone through the process. They've been budgeted for by us as council, and they have been all awarded by the relevant parties. So I look forward to injecting that money out into those projects and seeing them done across the Shire. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Sharkey. I think we just might move back to the Director, just so that we can just do the recommendations for items 7.14 and 7.15, so that way we can see what the actual items are on the agenda. Just the recommendations, not going through the whole report though, just so that the viewers can actually hear and see what the reports were.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy to go through that. 7.14 was for the Shelford Road, Mercer and Russell's Bridge Road upgrades. The recommendation was that Council resolve to award the contract Shelford, Mount Mercer and Russell's Bridge Road upgrade to Bitumill Civil Proprietary Limited for the sum of $1,007,037.35 exclusive of GST, and that 2 Council delegates to the Chief Executive Officer or his delegate authority to execute the contract on behalf of Council. Agenda item 7.15 relates to a panel of suppliers for crushed rock and quarry products. The recommendation on page 86 is that Council resolves to award the contract panel for the provision of crushed rock and quarry products to the following panel of suppliers: DE Quarry Solutions, Geelong Quarries Proprietary Limited, Holcomb and North Altona Rock Blasting. 2, that Council awards the contract for initial term of 3 years with 2 by 12-month extensions at Council's discretion, and 3, delegates to the Chief Executive Officer or his delegate authority to execute the contract on behalf of Council.
Mr. Josipovic. Okay, do we, would the seconder like to speak? Thank you.
Echo Councillor Sharkey's sentiments and personally add that yes, we did receive inductions about the tender process, etc., and was very impressed at how rigorous it is and the rating systems used and compliance requirements. So we can feel confident that these are the best outcomes. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Whitfield. Is there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion?
Me?
Thank you, Councillor.
Once again, as Councillor Whitfield said, new councillors were very impressed with the process that's in place and the explanations that was given to us on the day. That's all.
Thank you. All right. So, Councillor Rowe, you'd like to speak?
Yep. I'd just like to say, look, it's another great event, another upgrade to our road infrastructure, which is very, very important for this Shire, and also too, without roads, without the crushed rock and quarry products, we don't have any road infrastructure. So, yep, that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rowe. Councillor Sharkey, would you like to sum up?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I think that's everyone's perfectly done. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put it to the vote. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.16, Councillors' Expenses and Meeting Attendance Report for the first quarter ending the 30th of September 2020. Thank you, Director O'Sullivan.
Madam Mayor, in accordance with legislation and policy, councillors can be reimbursed for eligible out-of-pocket expenditure in relation to resources and training to undertake their role as councillors. This report provides the record of expenditure made on behalf of councillors in the performance of their duties, and at the At the end of quarter one, councillors had spent only 5% of their allocated budget. It also includes quarterly updates on councillor attendance at both scheduled and unscheduled meetings of council. Providing regular updates throughout the year on the councillor attendance at meetings enables enhanced transparency rather than only once as part of the council's annual report. As noted, council have only spent the 5% of their allocated budget at this point in time. Thank you.
Any questions, councillors? No? Do I have a mover to the motion? Councillor Sharkey. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Rowe, thank you. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Procedural matter here, and I think for all my time on council, we've always been well below the actual budget on this. So it's full appreciation to all the councillors who are pretty frugal, I reckon.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Rowe. Would you like to speak?
Thank you. I think it's all been said.
Anyone like to speak against the motion? For the motion? I'll put the vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 8, notices of motion. We have none. Petitions, nil. And urgent business, nil. Item 10, we do not have any confidential reports for decision tonight. I'd just quickly like to sum up that earlier I did miss it on my my notes, but I'd just like to quickly announce that on Friday I attended the Linton cricket nets, and they received over $200,000 for some new cricket nets over there. As well as that, Michaela Settle was there also giving away some much needed funds, and she also invited us across to the Linton Primary School where they received $1.9 million for a new school. Today it's also been acknowledged that the Cape Clear Primary School has received funding. At this stage I'm not sure how much, but I just think it's a great achievement for our small schools in the Shire that are really killing their weight for the amount of children that they have there and the amount of funding that they are receiving. So I'd just like to mention that. Thank you. So as there is no other business, I'd like to close the meeting at 7:26 p.m. Thank you.